All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it as always. Appreciate it as always. Are we live? What's going on? Yeah, we are live. Sorry for running so late today. Of course, I play everything too close. So I was upstate in Harriman State Park. Thank you for the 5x5, everyone. I was in Harriman State Park, doing a lot of filming for the Calming Journey channel, and then just photography shit. So I was playing it so close. I looked at the time. I was like, oh shit, 7 o'clock. Got here 7:30. Had to do the thumbnails and all this other bullshit. So anyway, Mr. Landfill, definitely P, Teddy Roosevelt, Gizmo, WTC. Thank you for the 5x5. Beef and Chicken. Thank you for the 2x4. Maverick, Busa, Adriana, South Florida, Ride or Die, CJ, thank you for the 5x5, FP Miles, Remedial Prepper, nice one, thank you for the 5x5, Carolina, Henry, Kathleen, Dial, 1 second after, Adobe, Ozark Prepper, thank you for the 5x5, Spotted Fawn, and Brian Barbie, thank you for the 5x5. So, anyway, today was a decent day of hiking, if you will. I was getting a kick out of it. It's just nice to be alone in the woods, and I was alone for quite a while, and then some little fucking sniveling white rat came sneaking up behind me and shit, and scared the shit out of me, first of all, because I was in the zone, and this guy was just making this beeline, man. He was just fucking on a mission. Had 2 water bottles, 2-gallon water jugs in his hand, and a backpack. Not even like a camper's backpack, like a day pack. Not even a day pack, like a book bag, whatever. But yeah, the fucking guy walked and then disappeared in the thin air. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Satan? He just gone. Do they have women to purchase at the park office? Harriman State Park is park about a half hour from here, maybe 45 minutes, depending on traffic. CNC, thank you for the 5x5. 25. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I was doing today. So tonight's live stream, if you will, it's just a title. We're going to talk about a lot of disasters going on, things we're seeing, things we're going to see. I have nothing written out for today's show, so forgive me. Tonight, we're going to talk about whose side on the Angry Truth channel. We're going to talk about whose side will you be on. We're going to talk about that real quick tonight, probably about a half hour or so. But yeah, as far as picking sides, guys, I think they are drawing multiple lines in the sand, and we're going to definitely have to figure it out very fucking soon and very fucking fast, because things are getting a lot more interesting with everything that's going on. So, hopefully, some of you seen the article today. I thought I saw it on the Post. It was about the RSV arm ticket that the FDA just passed. A lot of interesting shit is going on with that. A lot of people seem to think that... There it is. A lot of people seem to think that the timing of the RSV arm ticket is too coincidental. So now, in the UK, there's a new killer virus which kills 40% of its victim, certain to reach the UK. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm not sure why they phrased it that way. But this article dropped today. And so I didn't get a chance to read it because, again, I was upstate New York frolicking and shit, you know. Because that's what you do when you go to the woods, upstate New York. You frolic. Whenever you go to the woods, you frolic. All right, maybe I don't frolic, but yeah. So the RSV arm ticket, guys, RSV was just passed, and I think we're going to see an outbreak of some sort this year. If not this year, next year. So the article read today that the FDA approved this RSV arm ticket for kids. Now there was one that was passed or approved for adults last month, and they have a new one for kids specifically this year. So of course, guys, I just want to talk about this real quick because not that it's concerning. I don't find this too alarming or concerning because we knew that this was going to happen. We knew we were headed down this road. But the FDA on yesterday, approved the arm ticket called Beyfortus. I had never heard of it. To protect young children from the deadly infection of the RSV, which is respiratory syncytial virus. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. Anyway, according to them, 120,000 babies die a year from this. I think there are other things that babies die from that are a lot bigger or more kids die from, but whatever. So anyway, they passed this. This is ready to rock and roll. This is for, I'm telling you, a possible outbreak of this shit. McBean, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it, as always. Thank you. And you didn't have to, by the way. So, like I said before, guys, I'll say it again. There's definitely something brewing. Again, I can conspiracy theory the shit out of anything. I'm a little more concerned about if something happens for kids. This fucking thing, whatever. But I'm gonna do a video on the UK situation probably tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow, and it'll air later this week. But they don't, in the title, if you will, they don't say what the virus is. They just tell you that it's there. So it's like I said, guys, it's alarming, but I think we saw this coming from a million miles away. There's not much that they can surprise us with at this point. But let me get on with today's show. Anyway, so how many disasters, guys, will happen this year? I'm going to go out on a limb and say all of it. All of it's going to happen this year. Because why the fuck not? We saw torrential downpour, rain, and flooding upstate New York and Vermont. Again, Vermont, Montpelier, if you will, was almost underwater. It was underwater. A lot of the vehicles were underwater. And that was in itself, guys, a sign of things to come. Because, again, Montpelier hasn't seen floods like that, at least to my knowledge, ever. There were people who've lived there a long time said they've never seen anything like it. Upstate New York, they get floods every now and again, but that was some serious flooding that they saw that upstate New York hasn't seen in a while. Especially somebody dying from it, meaning being washed away. There are way more tornadoes. The frequency of tornadoes are back to back. We're definitely, probably, I think in the near future, going to see our first record-breaking earthquake. Now, I know a lot of you have your fingers crossed and hoping that it's California, but I don't know. That's the curveball. It might not be California. It could be somewhere else. These disasters, guys, are happening close together and more frequently. And I think that's the bigger issue. Now, how do we prepare for a lot of that? We're going to get into that in a little bit. We're going to get to that later. But optimistic AP. But I think as far as optimism goes, we'll be fine. I think as preppers, guys, you see, so when I talk about how many disasters will happen and diseases and virus and all that, I'm talking about it and worrying about it in regards to the normies. Because regardless of what you think, guys, we still have friends who don't prepare, who we're going to be concerned for, right? Even if you fucking, you're telling them, listen, guys, you got to be prepared, shit's going to get real, and they don't want to do it, you're still concerned. And so, therefore, we are concerned for a lot of idiots. Nonetheless, guys, the optimism is for us. I think we'll be fine. We will see this coming. We will see a lot of it coming. We're prepared for a lot of it. What we're not prepared for, at least here in the East Coast, is an earthquake. I am prepared for it to a degree. I have climbing rope to get myself out of a situation if I end up in such a situation where I have to use it. I know how to use it. Therefore, that's me getting out of a building or getting to people if I have to get to them. But yeah, I am definitely. So, Center Mass, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, hurricanes in the East Coast, at least this far up north, are few far in between. I'm not worried about them as much, even if one heads up this way. Now, if a category 4 or 5 heads up this way, that's a game changer. They normally don't reach that level up this far, and if they do, that's going to be the first time in the Angry Prepper's history that I will evacuate an area. Now, I won't evacuate as much as I will get my family out of here, throw them in a truck, shut up, sit down, we're gone. Get them to where they need to go, a safe place, and then head back into the city because the city's going to need help. Now, I would be in the city because I'm thinking, and this is me just theorizing, a category 4 or 5 hurricane in the city is going to topple a lot of buildings. And maybe even some bridges. And I'd rather be in the city riding it out and ready to rock and roll than outside of the city waiting to get in, if that makes sense. Now, I could stage myself in a couple locations outside of New York, and after it gets hit, come in. I could do that. But if any of the bridges collapse, then I'm fucked. Now I'm out there with everybody else trying to get in. It's just water today. Don't start speculating whiskey and all this other bullshit. But the Watchmen, yes, the normies are blind. The normies are waiting or will wait for help to come. They're not sitting here they're not sitting here preparing. Now, some of them might at the last minute. If some craziness happens, they'll probably get ready, but it'll only last them a couple days. Where any prepper who's stuck in the city when a hurricane hits, they're going to be prepared for a week or two, if not months, if not a year. The normies are fucked. And even if they go out and get food and water and they ride the storm out and the storm passes, but the damage is so bad that they have to wait 5 days, 6 days, maybe a week or two for help to come in. And if the bridges collapse, which I don't think they will, but if they do, in the small case that they do, they're really screwed. Now you're talking about possibly 2 weeks before help gets here. Remember, Manhattan's an island. The Bronx isn't. The Bronx is probably going to have help first. You're going to see all the help and support coming through there. You're going to see all the help and support coming through New Jersey as well, and try to shuttle things over here. That's if, no, Dan Phillips. That's if, again, a hurricane that strong hits. I don't want to imagine what it'd be like if a fucking storm came into the city and hit full blast. Now, we're seeing back-to-back disasters, guys, and these back-to-back disasters can also affect the economy, because how much help can be given to each of these areas, how much federal funding can be given to these areas if they're hit, that's the bigger question, because the federal funding right now, I'm pretty sure, is all but depleted because it was given to the Ukraine. Right? And listen, the fact that we gave money to the Ukraine and the fact that the American people had no say in it, that's the alarming thing. I mean, like, we should have been up in arms. We should have been doing some shit. We should have been stopping it by any means necessary, stopping the funding going to the Ukraine. I don't think we should not at all have allowed that to happen. The funding that was given should have stayed here, because look at what we're seeing. We're seeing endless tornadoes. We're seeing hurricane season start earlier. They say earlier each year by a couple of days or a week or something like that. Nonetheless, guys, this can dry up the economy in this country, because how many people are going to help? How many businesses are going to help? Right? So we have to keep that in the back of our head, and that's why we have to stay prepared. And I hate to say this, but if you live in a town, you should be prepared for your neighbors. Not, and your immediate neighbors, people living right next to you, not like fucking, Susie Q 8 doors down. James Carroll, I am not back to work. I think that ship has sailed. I don't foresee them calling me back in. It is what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can inquire about it, but there's a side of me that doesn't really give a fuck. Just finalize my retirement so I can fucking bounce. How can you stop it when politicians give the peasants a finger? Johnny, that's where we take it out on the politician. I said earlier, by any means necessary. And that's what it means. We need to stop the why and how come. We need to start paying these politicians a visit to their homes. Right? J6, that was the wrong reason for it to happen. But what we're watching now, and them, like you said, giving us the finger, maybe we should be J6ing every month. Somewhere new. I don't know. Just a thought. For these disasters that are going to happen. And listen, an earthquake, if the earthquake that happens, that they keep saying is going to happen, the big one, anything over an 8 is going to fuck California. Anything over a 9 is going to probably separate California into the ocean. And again, I know a lot of you got your fingers crossed and hoopla, but here's the rub, guys. California experiences anything over an 8. Surrounding states are going to feel it as well. Anything over a 10, the entire country feels it. And the devastation in the disaster area is far, far bigger than California. You're talking about Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, probably Idaho, Oregon, Utah, Washington State, some of Canada, some of Mexico. You're talking about a major, major disaster area. A disaster area that has never been seen. Ever. And at least in recorded history. Some will say volcanoes, but no. You're talking about a 10-pointer. That's bad. And Chuck Norris Gun Club, yeah, California won't float away. It'll just dive into the ocean. Like, it won't float anywhere. It'll just probably break off into the ocean. But that would be bad. That would be absolutely bad. That's possibly the worst scenario we can come across. That or a meteor coming out of the sky. And a meteor coming out of the sky and smashing into the earth will do us all in. But what was the name of that movie? Christian Prepper, I think you know the movie. The one where the meteor hits on the opposite side of the planet and everybody in Australia is like partying for the end of the world. It's like something hours, last hours or some shit like that. But yeah, that if something like that happens, that would be bad too, because you would know that the end of the world is coming. It was like 12 hours they had, or 18 hours, some crazy shit, to the end of the world. To the entire planet was engulfed in flames from the meteor hitting it in the United States or something like that. It was like the last hours or the final hours. I think that's what it was called. It was called the final hours. The gentleman says we are getting flooded. The gentleman, where are you that you're getting flooded? CT, yes, California is overdue for a big one. And scientists keep saying that. They keep saying, well, California is overdue now. We know they are. We know they're overdue for a big one. But how big is the big one? I think it was these final hours. Yes, Christian Prep, right? Final hours or these final hours. Yeah. That was a good movie, by the way. For those of you looking for End of the World. That's not a prepper movie because there was no preparing for this. And even if you did, you would have had to dig something like a half mile into the earth to survive it. Teddy Roosevelt, not deep impact. It was these final hours. It was so the meteor hit the opposite side of Australia, and when it hit, it caused that what you call it burn that started engulfing the planet in flames. And so there was a couple looking for each other during this whole movie. And in this movie, the guy is visiting certain areas, and there's all kinds of crazy shit going on. A guy killing off his family. A guy had an assassin look for him to kill him for free or some shit like that. People are partying, and all the meanwhile, I don't want to give away the ending, but the ending is pretty cool. But just know that they know that this fireball is engulfing the planet, and it's coming. So it's a very, I think it's final hours or these final hours. It's one of the two. Pyroclastic flow. Thank you, Christian Prepper. That's exactly what it was. Not Night of the Comets. Though I've been looking for Night of the Comets to watch. I can't find it anywhere. I think not even on that 80s movie. They don't even have it on there. But yeah, that was a good movie to watch. But anyway, how many disasters are we going to have to endure? I think, guys, for the foreseeable future, we're going to have to endure all of them. Whatever the fuck is thrown at us, we're going to have to deal with it. Again, we're not normies. We're not going to sit here, bitch, moan, cry, and scream and you know, dip into our bonbons and all that kind of shit. We're going to have to deal with it. And when it comes, we will pivot. That's all we can do. Now, the normies, on the other hand, those are the people you're going to see on the long lines for water and food. And, you know, plastic sheeting or wooden boards to put on their windows or whatever it is. These people... Yeah, these final hours running around with the kid. Yes, these final hours. And yes, we can't prevent any of it. Unfortunately, guys, a lot of it's going to happen. Now, when I was hiking today in the park, I found a stream. Now, the stream that I've visited a couple times, it's a nice flowing stream. You know, it just flows nicely. But the rain that came today roughened it up a little bit. There was more of a flow, which was great for photography purposes, by the way, but had me thinking about flooding. And now that area does flood. It floods at the lower, Harriman State Park floods at the lower portion closer to the Palisades Parkway. So, I mean, those people in that area would have probably been not underwater, but they would have had a decent amount of water. And then their lower parts where the water just keeps going, and they would have had bad flooding down there as well. I know that the thunderstorms earlier today were pretty bad. It seems like thunderstorms have gotten increasingly worse because people are talking about their houses rattling, glass fracturing and or breaking. So these are going to be continuous problems we're going to have. And again, for the prepper community, Hudson Valley says his streams are raging. Yeah, these streams weren't raging yet. They were getting there, but they weren't raging yet. But up by Hudson Valley, his streams are raging. They're it's a heavy flow, as you ladies would put it. Kathleen, I did not hear of a military guy saying get the hell out of here because of what's coming. Every year, there's a military guy that states something bad is coming. I stopped listening to those dudes a long time ago. I can count on all my hands and fingers and toes that fingers and toes that these guys keep saying. Someone said Night of the Comet is free on YouTube. All right, thank you for that. There's always a military guy talking about the impending doom that never comes. Now, unfortunately, guys, one of these guys that are talking about the impending doom gonna hit it on the head one day, and they're gonna pretty much fucking screw us over. Because we're going to stop listening to them because it's like crying wolf. We had military guys talking about World War III starting last year, the year before last. We had military guys talking about 2012 and how the military's getting ready and something bad's going to happen. We've had military guys tell us that, you know, that China was going to bomb us and or attack us. At some point, it's going to happen. But I stopped listening to military dudes. So that's the long answer, if you will. Wolf Mule. Yeah, no. Listen, I never lived through a flood. I mean, there was that flooding situation last year when I was a fireman, and they had that bad flooding in the Bronx, and the people's basement flooded. There was that kind of flooding that we were dredging through that water. But personally, no, I've been lucky enough to avoid that. Yeah, Kathleen, though, what's coming, though? I mean, like, is it an alien invasion? Is it fucking, 20-foot Roseanne Barr or Rosie O'Donnell coming out of a spaceship? Like what is coming? And that's the other thing. They're ominous about it, too. They're like, there's something coming. It's headed your way. And then they leave. You're like, what is it? Is it broccoli? What's coming? Like, why be so secretive about it? Just tell us what it is. These final hours is free on YouTube as well. Stanjovic. Jordine Stanjovic said, these final hours is free on YouTube. All right. Aliens on the 26th, I guess. I don't know. Who knows, man? Again, it's a guessing game. Every day it's something new. Every day they're like, oh, this is gonna happen. I'm like, it's not. Like the supply chain issue because of UPS striking. Now that video is coming out tomorrow. I did a video on it, but the long short of it, guys, there's no supply chain issue. Nothing's gonna happen. UPS is gonna go on a strike. It's gonna last a couple days if they do go on a strike. It's not gonna last that long, and even if it does, big deal. You pivot. You use FedEx, United States Postal Service, or DHL, or Laser, or Amazon Delivery. Or you have other guys who will start a delivery service just for that purpose when UPS goes on a strike. We're not going to see a supply chain issue. We're really not. It's not a fucking big to-do. Again, I go on a hike, and what do? Not drink water. I haven't fucking... I didn't take any water with me today, and I was fucking stupid. I should have, but I didn't. But yeah, such is life. So now I'm paying for it as we speak, because I am super fucking thirsty. They Lived was a good movie. Still a good movie to this day when you watch it. Yeah, Brian Bobby, Y2K should have killed us. 2012 should have killed us. Again, I mean, listen. Whatever's going to happen, guys, is going to happen, like I said before, and we're going to deal with it. Is there the probability of some end of the world nonsense happening? Absolutely. Are we going to sit here and be scared and what you call about it? No. Absolutely not. But yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do this dance. YouTube is censoring my comments. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the comments stopped, and then they picked up again. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Now they're all flying through. So yeah, Hudson Valley and CJ the preparing prepper. There was something just went on then. Because I didn't see a single message for the last 2 minutes. Or a minute and a half, rather, sorry. My message kept getting deleted. I saw that earlier. Oh, The Pilot Master. I did see the movie Sound of Freedom. So, we're going to talk about that for a little bit. But I saw The Sound of Freedom. It was a good movie. I wasn't too impressed with it. I thought it was going to be darker, and it wasn't. Maybe because I'm just a cynical fuck, but I was looking for a more darker movie. And darker in the sense of not necessarily showing the act or anything like that, but I don't know, just a little more like gripping, and it towed the line for me. It towed the line. There was a lot that wasn't being said. There was a lot that should have been said. But nonetheless, it was a good movie. And for people who are not privy to the whole sex trafficking thing, this movie will be a shock to you. But if you are in the know of this field, it won't be shocking to you. It'll be a light movie. But it was still a good movie. And there's a message at the end of Sound of Freedom, and they ask you to donate tickets for people to see. So yeah, absolutely donate tickets at the end of the movie. There'll be a QR code that pops up on the movie screen, and you have to like you sit there in a movie theater as Jim Caviezel's talking in his message, and you're like, shit. You whip out your phone, and you're like, almost. It's just a weird thing to do, and so you tag it, and then you go to your phone, and it asks you to purchase movie tickets for other people because they want people to see it. They don't care about the money aspect or losing money. But you are paying for it. Keep that in mind. So if you have money to donate the money so that more people could see it. It's a good movie. The ending was good, but I don't know if the ending was Hollywood or a true ending. There were a couple scenes that, of course, they had to do for Hollywood purposes. So I took issue with that. But again, how do we stop this, the sex trafficking? I'm going to talk about that on the Angry Truth channel. But there's a lot that can be done. Unfortunately, what has to be done involves getting your hands dirty. Or having your hands painted red, if you know what I mean. The law is not going to stop this. People think that you're going to pass laws and stop these heinous crimes from happening to kids. That's not how you stop them. Unfortunately, you need a blowtorch and pliers and a good stomach to deal with that. I'll tell you right now, guys, a lot of people on here like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. If you're not used to blood or body parts or things of that nature, you're not going to be able to do what needs to be done. Unfortunately for me, I was raised on violent movies, faces of death, and seeing this shit in real life. So I'm pretty sure I have a stomach for it. YouTube is probably messing with you guys tonight. They're probably going to mess with me later, but we'll see. Kitsy Witsy said, can we get our new bug out bag organized for men, women, and kids? One of your future episodes. Kitsy Witsy, I am going to do a what's in my bug out bag video. I do have a bug out bag series that I'm going to continue up as well, start to do again. But you could look up bug out bag series on the Angryprepper channel. I have, I think, 3 videos on that. So you can look at those videos if you're looking to see what to put in your bug out bag or what bug out bag is good for you. It wasn't bad. Yeah, Hudson Valley. My channel, my subscriber, my views are good, but my subscribership's stagnant as well. Strange. But I've heard that across the board from a lot of YouTubers. Like their subscribership, not even preppers, not even conservatives, just people who have other channels, like photography channels and shit like that, their membership, their subscribership is stagnant. Bug out bags are individual specific. You are right. Hence the bug out bag series I did. I did that video so that everybody can get an idea of, you know what, maybe I'll put it in the community board tomorrow. I'll put the bug out bag series in the community board for people to watch. But 11 fucking months. Yeah, Hudson Valley. Listen, just keep plugging away, man. That's all you can do. I think YouTube wants a lot of people to fail. I personally believe it. I think they want a lot of channels to fail. That's why they break a lot of balls and they do the shit that they do. The reason why they're stagnant is because a lot of people are sleeping. Well, Brian James, what I'm saying is that a lot of channels are. A lot of people are they're struggling now. A lot of YouTube channels are struggling to get their subscribers. There are certain channels that are like in the prepper community that are exploding, and I'm like, good for them. And then there's some of us who have been on for a long time that are just staying stagnant. And then you look at those channels that are exploding, you're going, they're not doing anything different. They're really not. So maybe it's just an algorithm thing. Who knows? For NBC, Ozark Prepper said, how about a 2-week extreme bug out kit for nuclear, biological, chemical emergency? That's a lot to carry, Ozark Prepper. That is a lot of shit to carry. If that's a bag you need for that scenario, you're carrying a lot of weight. Because you're carrying filters, you're carrying, unfortunately, possibly cleaning products. You're carrying a lot of shit, and you would almost need to tow it behind. Not that it's impossible; it can be done. That's just a heavy bag. Hell, a heavy bag then some. But yeah. And that's the other thing. Yes, Jason's right. Jason Smith's right. In that scenario, you're not going anywhere. You have to stay indoors. You can't carry the amount of weight that's going to be. I mean, some people can, but realistically, most people cannot carry that amount of weight that's going to be needed to carry that shit. Again, the filters you're going to burn through, forget about it. Operator 357 said it too. NBC Kids, a case on wheels. It is. Yeah, like I said, a bug out bag then some. You're gonna have to tow it behind you. You're better off just staying put, man. Even if shit got hot, you need to find a point B and not wander around. But you have to have a mission in mind to get the fuck out of there. Why carry anything? Get a wagon or a dolly. The Watchman, you can get a wagon or a dolly, like those beach wagons of dollars. You can get one of those, but at some point, you might have to ditch that thing. Now, if you have a wagon and a dolly, I've done a video on it before, my older channel, before it was deleted. If you're gonna put anything in that dolly, I would say food and water. Because at least with food and water, as you're drinking it and eating it, that dolly's going to get lighter to a point where you could leave the dolly behind. Again, you got to know where you're going. You can't roam around. This is not a roam around kind of place. Scenario. Shit gets hot. You got to go from point A to point B. Not point A to point, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, you got to have a dead set direction to go in, and you have to have the dead set location to go to. You can't just prance around or frolic around the United States with your bug out bag on. You're going to pay for that if you do. Johnny 308. So Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival and I had this discussion about caches. Caches are great in a perfect world. So I started doing. I did a paper, if you will, a while back on caches, and caches only work if you are walking a straight line. Caches only if you are driving, a cache will definitely work. If you are walking, a cache might not work. How many caches are you going to deploy? How many backup routes are you going to supply with, right? How many backup routes are you going to have, and how many caches on those backup routes are you going to have, right? So it's not realistic to have 12 caches, 3 per backup route, right? So if you have, hopefully you have 2 or 3 backup routes. If you have 4 caches on those backup routes, that's a lot. Then you have to keep up on those caches. That means you have to visit 4 of those caches, or 12, all 12, of those caches, and restock them. That's a lot. Now, if you are walking a path and that's the only way to get to a certain area, the cache will work for you. But you have things called curveballs. Things might take you off your cache. Your caches or cache. Some people call caches and others say cache. I used to say caches and people are like, that's not it. I'm like, it's caches is a fucking word. But anyway, not the point. It's not an English lesson. So, if you're walking down Route A and some crazy shit happens, Now you're on Route B. Something crazy happens on Route B. Now you're on C. Now the caches you had on B and A are now done because you can't walk down or get to them because some crazy shit happened. A group of people are blocking off your path. You don't want to get into it with those group of people. So what do? You go down a different route. But if you really need that cash, are you going to fight with 7 guys, 8 people, 12? It's not worth it. Right, CJ, the preparing prepper. That's exactly my point. To check each cache is a lot of work. First of all, to deploy them is a lot of work. Just that in itself. Then to check up on them every 6 months or a year, that's a lot of work. And it's a lot of work for something that could happen or might not happen. Yes, it's an insurance, but then what? And then what happens if you die of old age? Now you got these caches laying about. It's not worth it. Putting cash on your land, like Old Mutt does, he has caches around his land in case he gets kicked out of his home. He could dip into the woods. He has caches in there. That works. But again, I live in the city. There are too many ways for me to get out of here. I don't know what disaster is going to push me in what direction. That's the most important thing, guys. What disaster is going to push you in what direction? Is it going to push you in Route A, B, C, or D? Right? I know that if shit gets ugly, I might have to go Route B because Route A, which is across the George Washington Bridge, something can happen to the bridge. Now I got to go Route B. And now if the bridge in Route B collapses for whatever reason, Route C is taking my raft and getting across to Jersey. Again, I'm not going to establish caches out of all of these things. NYC Prepper. There are places you can put caches in the city. Oh, so somebody asked me earlier, my new email is angryprepper@yahoo.com. That's the new email. I'm no longer using the Gmail because of people getting their Gmail accounts or YouTube channels hacked into. So there's no connection with the Yahoo address, and the Yahoo address will be opened on another laptop or dead phone. So in case there's somebody lurking in there trying to fucking hack into the YouTube channel, now they can't because it's a dead phone with no connection to YouTube or a dead laptop with no connection to YouTube. And so it's angryprepper@yahoo.com. Hotmail. I don't have a Hotmail account. And if I do, I forgot it. Yeah, Hunter Biden has caches in the White House. Cocaine sprinkled all over the place. Kitsy Wootsy, I would buy MREs. I have MREs. I go through them. I check them every 6 months to a year to make sure they're still good. I had to throw a couple out because they were exposed. They were somewhere they weren't supposed to be, and I had to toss them. But for the most part, they last a very long time in the right conditions. So a cool area is going to keep your MREs longer. A hot area is going to have them go bad faster. But with MREs, keep in mind they have a lot of sodium in it. Definitely taste them when you buy them so that you know which ones you like. I would go with freeze-dried foods because freeze-dried foods are lighter and they taste a lot fucking better. So you can also go that route. Now, freeze-dried goods depends on who you go with. It's going to dictate how much money you spend. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival and myself, we like Peak Refuel. Peak Refuel, I think, is the best freeze-dried food you can get out there, but it's super expensive. Is Juno email still around? Get the fuck out of here. Seriously? I had an Earthlink email account for a while. I don't know if that's still around. Kevin Grip says he has MREs and freeze-dried. Freeze-dried is good. And freeze-dried is lighter than MREs. That's the other thing. Freeze-dried food, guys, you can pack a lot because they're lighter And MREs are heavier because they already have the liquid in them. A lot of them still have the liquid in them. But yeah, Peak Refuel is super expensive. But it is super good, super tasty, man. I would absolutely go with that. Someone says, no one is coming to save any of us. No, it is why you're on your own. But Peak Refuel, man, if I can get cases of that shit, I would drop $200-300 just to get a case of that shit. That's how good it is. And more importantly, there's meat in it. There's actual fucking meat. I would absolutely go with that. Nutrient Survival is another company to go with as well. So it's Peak Refuel, Nutrient Survival. Nutrient Survival, I used to push their stuff like drugs. But anyway, I used to push their stuff. I still do from time to time. I'm not a anymore, but I will still push their gear, their food. Their food is still good. By the way, hold on. They sent me something the other day. And it is, let me see if I can pull it up. So they have a grab and go bundle now. I'm going to put it in the chat. You guys should take a look. This is from Peak Refuel. The grab and goes I like because they're the single serving pouches. I like single serving pouches, man. Single serving pouches are great because you don't have to store any of it away. But anyway, let me drop it in the chat right now. It's called a grab and go meal. And then they had this one. I think it's a cereal. It's for cereal lovers. I'm going to drop that in a link as well. You could put this, guys, in your pantry. So they have maple almond grain crunch, chocolate grain crunch, hearty apple cinnamon crunch. I guess this is like hot cereal. Then they have the single serving packets as well of hearty apple cinnamon, maple almond grain, and chocolate grain crunch. These are the way to go. And then they have the nutrient oatmeal bag. I got to try that. That's $100 though for the whole bag. I don't know how much it is, but anyway, let me drop this in the chat as well. Guys, click the links and enjoy and shop on their website. So yeah, cereal lovers. So also tonight on the Angry Truth channel, we're going to talk about the arm ticket and airline pilots. Something has been happening recently with airline pilots, guys, and the arm ticket, and I fear a couple of crashes were in regards to the arm ticket. So we're going to talk about that in probably about 10 minutes. But we're probably going to see more crashes because of the arm ticket. That's, again, it's not so much a theory, it's just a wait and see kind of deal, because we did over the last year hear about pilots passing out behind the controls of a plane. So yes, the gentleman, I saw that. I saw the bison, right, gorging the woman, like her arm, right? It pierced her arm. But yeah, you know what's funny, guys? I hope you guys are paying attention to the increase of animal attacks around the world, unprovoked. I might add. So the bison attacked this woman. Apparently, they were moving away from the bison, in an attack. You have the killer whales attacking boats left and right. There's been an increase in animal attacks. Brown bear attacks, and brown bears don't normally attack. And I think there were 3 this year so far, and we're only in July. So, yeah, man, pay attention to the attacks going on. Animal attacks in the Bible also, the Watchman said. All right. I think the animals are just tired of our shit. They're like, yo, you guys done enough. You guys done too much. You guys done so much, now we gotta fucking step in. time to irrigate. All right, Jimmy Cole, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Animals are fed up. The magnetic field of the planet is probably in disarray, which is pissing them off. That it could be that. They said diminishing magnetic field, it will continue. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, supposedly there's talk of the magnetic field disappearing to the point that we start getting bombarded with radiation from space. So there's also that. That's a bad one. That's a curveball and a bad one. It's probably why, again, they're looking so hard to get off this planet and go into space, because why not? Why not go to another planet and fuck that planet up? So we're definitely all going to die, whether it's an animal attack, a disease, a bad president starting a war, Putin tired of our bullshit, North Korea not getting enough attention and wanting to flex his muscle. So there is that. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I know a lot of people on here are Putin lovers, but somebody says something about Putin. I'm like, yo, Putin is a different player playing the same game. That's all it is, man. We have Trump that looks like he's going to set the stage on fire for the 2024 election, which I can't wait. I really can't. I can't wait for the 2024 election. All the shit that's going on. Someone keeps saying aliens on the 26th. That's not happening. The sun disease, I'm pretty sure the sun's going to have a disease ready for us, some kind of radiological bacteria that gets into the bloodstream and turns us into chuds. I don't know, man. That whole shit with Putin and his ally, his friend, staging a coup. I'm like, there was a lot of weird shit in that. And somebody was like, did the American government start it? No, the American government didn't start it. The guy who staged the coup hates the United States just as bad. It's all falling apart, man. It's all falling apart. Right? Christian Prepper said weak collapse. We got that going on. Right? We got the possibility of our meat being tainted with the avian flu. And now they're printing meat, guys. Printing beef. I was watching it somewhere. Maybe it was on YouTube. But I was watching it today, and they're printing beef. And they're printing it. The printing of beef is so close to real beef, they said you can't tell, which is bullshit. A meat lover will always be able to tell, or anybody who pays attention to meat will be able to tell that meat or fake meat is being printed. But they said it tastes similar. Did somebody email me already? J. Dolph? Okay, I guess. Because this is a new email, and this email is going to be more for you guys and people that want to do collaborations or business collaborations and shit like that. Joe FW, yes, 3D beef. They're printing meat. They're printing meat to the point where it can also look like what's that beef that I like? The really expensive one. Wagyu beef. You can print Wagyu beef out for cheap. So yeah, guys, it's a fucking problem. Now that they're looking to grow beef in a lab, and now they're looking to 3D print it and I got to look more into it. Thank you, guys. Someone said spam. Nice try. Thank you, Kathy, Kathleen, and Adriana. Wagyu. But now they're trying to print it. But I need to read more about it because I want to know what substance are they using to print beef. So grown spam. I forgot where I was looking at it, but I wasn't paying too much attention to it when I was looking at it. But I think somebody sent me the link maybe, or I don't know. I saw it and I can't recall where I saw it. But I was staring at it in amazement. And they were talking about how close to beef it's going to taste like. You know what? Oh, all right. It was on TV earlier today. But I'm going to look more into it. I'm going to do more research. And then, obviously, I'm going to do a video on it. They are using the waste. That might not be a bad thing if they're using the waste, but you got to be using some kind of chemical property to break it down in such a way to make it look like beef. All right, all right, all right. All right, guys, so I guess we are coming to the end. Again, a lot of shit going on, guys. I mean, all we can do is prepare for what is coming or what might not be coming. That's all we can do. We can't do any more right now. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen. The UPS strike, like I said, is that a big concern? No, not really. You got YouTube channels that are making it a concern, of course. They're making everything a concern. Oh my God, UPS is going on a strike. What do we do? What do we do, guys? How are we going to get our preps? How about before July 31st or August 1st, just order your shit? Or stop being a lazy fat sack of shit and go to the store and pick it up. There is that. You know? I mean, it's not the end of the world, man. And they said that it can cause detriment to the U.S. economy. I'm like, oh, fucking please, knock it off. It's not that serious. It really isn't. It's just, they want to make everything a fucking woe is me game now. I'm like, even if it does, guys, even if the strike goes through, it's not the end of the world. It just isn't. Oh, we'll be okay. It's not going to crash the economy. They said that it's going to hurt the economy, but it's not going to crash the economy. We'll be okay. Get rhymes. Yeah, you know what? It's here's the rub, guys. And I'll say this now. I'll say this 50,000 more times. The money is in the fear porn. That's where it is. A lot of channels are exploding because of the fear porn. And there are other channels that are also doing good because they're reporting correctly. You know? And listen, it's okay to entertain the scary shit, but let's entertain it and not say that it's going to happen and it's going to kill you, you know? It's going to cause an economic collapse. What are we going to do? No, it's not. No, it's not. It might hurt the economy a little bit, but we'll be fine. We'll be okay. Yeah, UPS, they see the most packages. They see more packages than FedEx and DHL. They don't see more packages than the United States Postal System, though. But yeah, 25%, guys, that's a big stake in the game. But it'll be okay. They're going to have scabs that are going to work for them. Guys, just because a strike happens doesn't mean every last UPS worker is going to strike. You got scabs. There's scabs in every fucking job. You know, there are guys like, UPS did well by me. I'm going to continue to work. You know, there's always those suckers. My son already told me they go on strike. He's striking. He's with them. So, because that's my son. He knows better. You know, my kids know when to fucking take a stand. So that's a good thing. And a lot of people like, well, it's the union and the Teamsters. The Teamsters are not the problem, guys. It's the abusiveness of corporations. They like to make Teamsters look bad, but Teamsters actually stand up for the workers. Though, there are Teamsters that do make us look bad because they're sitting there with their fucking $500 suits on and $300 steak dinners, banging their mistress and paying their wife off. So there is that problem. But nonetheless, Teamsters and unions do stand up for workers because they're needed. When a corporation like Amazon tells you that you don't need unions, there's a problem. Anyway, guys, that being said, I'm going to go off the air now. I'm going to start the Angry Truth up in about 2 minutes. I'll see some of you guys over there. If not, I will see some of you guys Thursday night. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support.